All right, that is recording. Tom Cultipiano here. Let's see, are we live? End stream. Let's see what we have here, everybody. Fantastic to do a live show on Super Bowl. Thank you, Tom. Yes, Joe. Yes, you were ready. Welcome. I am not playing in Super Bowl. So, how are we sounding, everybody? We have to go back to Instagram and go live. And we are going live there. Oh, yes, the extreme close-up. I also look a little crooked. Am I crooked? I don't know. Welcome, everybody. ELR 360, Everybody's Raymond 360 Live. Every single Sunday for the past 5 years, we have talked about all things Everybody Loves Raymond. Increase that a little bit, because that is that, yes. We are going to be doing many things. What am I looking at? I'm looking at so many different things here. Let's say hello to everybody. Do I have the canister nearby? I do. Awesome. Okay. Let's say hello to some people here on the Super Bowl Sunday. So, for those of you that aren't in the country, today is Super Bowl Sunday, which is the biggest. Turn that off. Turn that down. Let me start out. I should have some. Here we go. Holy crap. That is good. Chewing of the ice. All right, let's bring up some comments here. Hi, Mona. Hi, everybody. Minus 24 degrees Fahrenheit. Is that true, Mona? That sounds like an exaggeration. Hope everybody enjoys Super Bowl Sunday. What are your snacks for today for the game? I have something in the canister that I don't think I've ever had. Hello, Marie. Hello, everybody. Hi, Michael. Michael Hokinson, 3216. 3216. What is that code? Hi, Karen Jack. Hello, everybody. Yes. Karen Edwards. So I guess I know that it. Hi, Kim. I know that the Super Bowl is a global event, but do people even care in England? I know you can't speak for everybody there, but I'm just curious if it's like, oh yeah, that game is on from America that I guess people care about. It's kind of like the World Cup here. The USA has never done well in the World Cup, and it doesn't nearly have not even close to the frenzy. Like, people don't even know when the World Cup. I'm doing something called generalizing. Hi, Gil. Aloha from, where would that be? That would be Hawaii for sure. Gil, do you watch the Super Bowl? Do you even know? I know you know what the Super Bowl is, but is it on in pubs there? So let's just talk a little bit about the Super Bowl. Let's keep saying hello. Hi, Paula. How do you say your last name slowly? Caltabiano. So if you're in Italy, I think you would say more, there's no long A. So apple, you don't say apple. You can't say apple. If you ask an Italian to say apple, they say apple. Caltabiano. Caltabiano, yes. Hi, Marshville. Hi, Janet. What did you send me? I already forget. I have things to show that people have sent me. You know what I'm trying today? Thanks to, there we go. Look at that. Cinnamon, some Christmas tea. I mentioned before that it's always sad when the Christmas trees and lights and everything comes down. So Deb Tucker sent me that, quite a few teas, and I really appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate it for those of you that have been sending me things. You do not have to send me anything, but I greatly appreciate it. All right, let's keep scrolling down. Hi, Jim Hustle from Welsh, West Wales. Awesome. Hi, Deb. Hi, Tom. 16 degrees here in Phillipsburg, New Jersey. You abbreviated it, but I know what it is. Happy birthday to my 73 years young, wonderful husband, Steve, who never ages from his queen. Now, does that mean you keep him unaged? Dedicating myself joining the ELR Live here on his birthday. Well, that's very nice, Deb. You can always watch us later. Happy birthday to your husband, Steve. Yes, still a child at 73. I remember seeing Norman Lear many times, courtesy of Phil Rosenthal, And he was pretty sharp still at 96, 97, 98, 99, right up until the end, at, I believe, 100. So there you go, Steve. Pick up the pace. You have 27 more years to go. Super Bowl, is that today? Funny, Michelle. Okay. ELR is a Constance house. Jim Hustle, you are welcome to this family. For those of you that don't know, even if you are from Welsh West Wales, Everybody Loves Raymond is a very unique show in show business because it was a very family atmosphere on the set. Everybody really did get along well. You saw the 30th reunion, part 1 and part 2, hopefully, and you saw that, all these people coming together. At the end, which was Phil Rosenthal's idea, to have everybody that worked on the show come out in the end, which is a logistics problem. Hi, Tabithy. Okay, keep going. Hi, Ellen. My wonderful husband, a great cook, has made chicken wings, guacamole, and chips, coconut shrimp, and scratch brownies, plus bubbly. Wow. I don't want to know how your husband makes the bubbly, but congratulations on an excellent husband choice. Hi, Annabelle. Yeah, I feel bad, Annabelle, because it is here in Hollywood. It's only, because last week we hit 90, I believe, broke a record. Today's only 81 degrees Fahrenheit, so there you go. Let me see. Who did I bring up? I don't drink, Tom. I don't visit pubs. I know about the Super Bowl because I love American culture generally. Yes, Gil bought me a beer when Gil visited. We drove on the Warner Brothers lot, and he said, "Can I buy you a beer?" And I said, "Yes. Would you like to have one?" And he said, "No." And I felt bad that is the case. Okay, so hold on here. Let's see. You're one of the only Americans who got my surname right. How do they say it? How do the Americans butcher your last name? Hi, Karen. Here we go. This is insightful. It's on too late to watch for me, but people do have Super Bowl parties over here. We need to take the day off work tomorrow, though. Yes, a late night affair, indeed. ELR is on TV in this house. Here, let me bring these up instead of. ELR is on TV in this house every evening from 7 to 10 to 11 p.m. Wow. You know, it is an oasis of laughter. That's why we try and keep that spirit alive here. Hi, Tom. You're watching the episode when Frank and Marie separated for a year. That is a very, very good one. Yes, Jim Hustle. You saw the reunion. Phenomenal nostalgia. You are correct. Deb, Tucker, Frank, Dancing with Deborah. How long did it take to choreograph the dancing scenes? Yes, my husband calls me the Queen, and my nieces, who is 33, called me Queenie, a nickname from her parents. There you go. Congratulations on that, I guess, promotion. Okay, here we go. So for those of you in the UK or down in Australia, the east coast of our country is having a really cold snap. And so I think we're getting to the minus. We're still sticking with the Fahrenheit measurement, which you guys over in the UK stuck us with or whatever. Let me just adjust this mic a little bit right there. Okay. So they are in a deep, deep freeze, probably the coldest winter in a long, long time. So there you go. Wow. Heat wave. Yes. In St. Louis. Now, Michelle, there's a pizza in St. Louis that I guess you wrote or somebody wrote to me about Eno's Pizza, INO''S pizza. Never heard of it in my life, and I looked it up a little. It's like a crackery crust, a non-yeasted crust. And for those of you that know me, or have been following me, you know that I bake bread every single day for the past 20 years. So non-yeasted is interesting. It has to be a crackery crust. Without yeast, because how are you going to get it to rise? So I have to try and taste that at some point. Yes, thank you for sending all that, Canadians. All right, let's talk about a few things. What do I have here? This, by the way, we just sent out a batch of these, and I appreciate everybody who orders the fork and spoon, the big fork and spoon. If you go for some of you, we sell this on our little website here, which we research for a year to make sure the fork and spoon would stay put when I compulsively snack. Repeated refrigerator door opening and closing, opening and closing, opening and closing for me to do research on that. And it was delicious research. So, but for those of you that order that, a big batch just went out that I know. Okay, let's talk a little about the Super Bowl, and then we're going to get back to all of our comments and questions. Oh, you know what I have to do? I do have to pay attention to Instagram. Let me bring Instagram up here. Sorry, folks, for this insane tight shot. Yeah, it really is very high. Okay, looking up here. Big thing in Canada, but for not for me, bring on the hockey games. Yes. Hockey, big in Canada, obviously. Hi, who is on the video now? Hi, Swiss Cheese 298. It is me, Tom Caltabiano, writer on Everest Raymond. That is who is on the video. You're on our site. You know what's interesting to me? I have to do a video that introduces who I am, because for those of you that follow me, they're like, how do you not know who Tom is after 5 years of doing this live video? But you realize, in fairness to other people, they watch a feed and, let me just make sure of my audio stuff. I just want to check one thing. Mix pre 10. Yes. Okay. The feed, so we now have, we're coming up on 78,000 followers, which is phenomenal. And I'm so glad that people are discovering this page and channel and everything else. But a lot of people are just like, here's some unknown schmuck guy who's wearing a hat and seems to be talking about the show as if he knows what he's talking about. And I really, really welcome people. So I have to do a little video that says who I am and that I took 30,000 behind the scenes photos, etc. So people have some faith. Now, I say faith because there's the advent of all these AI things that I see. And I'm like, why are people still following this page when people are like, the ELR reunion 2026 coming up? And it's this AI generated image that doesn't look like Peter Boyle, who's unfortunately no longer with us. Etc. So I was at the show from the beginning to end. I knew Ray before the show. I see Phil and Ray all the time. I will probably see them today. So if it generally, and I know that when I posted about the reunion show, somebody wrote, that's a lie. What did they call me? A liar and fake news and a whole bunch of things. And I appreciate, like Mona, who's like, I don't think Tom would lie to us about that. That was before the Raymond reunion show. So hopefully here, all these inside stories that you can trust. So I just wanted to give that out of the way. So I am Tom, yes, who was a writer on Everest Raymond. Let's see. Okay, let me scroll down. Did I see Poland? Chase. That's hello in Polish, if for those of you know. I grew up in Maynard, Massachusetts, and they changed the name to Maynard for the day. Interesting. Very interesting. I moved to Nashville from Lynbrook, New York. Oh, yes, the home of Everest Raymond. USA figure skating team just won gold in Italy. Okay. Sorry for those of you that are taping that event. Okay. Let's go back to Facebook now. So what I'm looking at, folks, is I have two screens, one with Instagram, one with Facebook feed through StreamYard. I don't see the comments on YouTube. YouTube is probably the best, the thing that we have to pay more attention to, etc. Hi, yes, okay, Syria. Sorry. And for those of you that are only listening, what I'm doing is I'm slowly bringing up comments and trying to catch up. Love the behind-the-scenes pics of the Super Bowl ELR commercial. Yes, Karen, awesome. Yes, Mona, that's awesome in the background. Okay. Hello, Raleigh, North Carolina, Super Bowl in the UK. Oh, Jim Hustle. Let's see what you said. Okay, here we go. We're going to give you your due. Hustle is like Russell, right? I get hoosle, fusel, huzzle. It's mad. I used to have property in Florida, and it was like giving an education with my surname for a year or so. When people got to know me, it became a bit better. My New York friends got it straight away, though. Yeah, hustle. I don't know how interesting, but you never know. Yes, Caltabiano is an easy one to butcher. Unless you're visiting Italy, then they're just like, oh, yes, Caltabiano. Love those big fork and spoon accessories. Yes. In Montreal, oh, that's the other thing about Ino's Pizzeria in St. Louis that I have never heard of before. They only cut it in squares. I guess is that protest against something? In Montreal, says Mona, We have a fabulous bakery that makes the square pizza crust. I love it. It's an Italian bakery. So, but Sicilian slices are traditionally square. So, um, oh, hold on. Maybe someone here can get my Detroit style pizza pan, which is on the stove. So the question is, have you, hello, I need to ask. Hi, Dennis. Leon, I need to ask, have you tried to bake Detroit style pizza? Okay, so we're getting on a good tangent, a delicious tangent here. So pizza, Detroit style is a square pan. It's steel and it's patterned after parts bins, I think that's your story that in Detroit, the car company parts bins were, these were these square pans and that's what they use. So it's interesting because it's a super delicious, thick square crust. But here is a Detroit style pizza. This is, I think it's Lloyd's. It's the big popular one that people order. So I've used it, but I haven't tried to make a Detroit pizza. So here you go. For people that want to see, it's about that. It's like 8 by 10 or something. I mean, you can get them in different sizes. So, there's a place here in LA called Apollonia's, which makes phenomenal Detroit style pizza. I have been to Detroit. I did a stand-up comedy show with Ray Romano in Detroit, and we did not try Detroit pizza. But Detroit pizza has had a resurgence, or not resurgence, had a little bit more awareness around the country, I think, because of social media now, which is why I'm surprised that I don't know Inos. Okay, so let's explain. Let me see. Let me catch up here. Karen, you're our favorite unknown schmuck, Tom. Yes, I do appreciate that, Karen. Peter Boyle is a genuine legend. Yes, absolutely. Wow, I'm trying to catch up. Look at these comments. This is phenomenal. Deb Tuck Dead, did I... okay, I'm going backwards now. Tom, did you get to Nikon to take care of all your cameras? How's your yard doing since the mudslide? You know, I appreciate the personal concern. I have not gotten to Nikon. Here's one of my lenses that, let's see, yeah, there you go. How heartbreaking is that? But don't fret, people. That is just the front of the lens. It's a little screw-on thing, but it's hard to get off for me. So that will cost no money to repair. That will cost no money to repair, but also the same thing, a damaged front. I'm very hard on my lenses. The short answer, no. Deb, I'm going to go tomorrow because you suggested it. I'm going to go tomorrow, and I think I told you that the heartbreaking thing was I had my Nikon D850, which is a used camera I bought, but it has really high resolution. Why would you guys care? Because that's the camera that I got specifically to scan more of my negatives. So many negatives to be seen. I think I got to try and find a young archivist who wants to spend time digitizing 30,000 photos, because believe me, they are phenomenally, they are all gold. Okay, so let's see, Lynbrook, America. Yes, that is very good. Hi, Kim. I had a dream that you and Patty came over to take me birthday shopping. Wow. Where did we go birthday shopping? Where would we have gone birthday shopping? I have a simple name, Yet Klein, Tyne, Dine, Pine. I have always have to say pine like a tree. Yeah, Kathy, it's a curse, right? But people are trying to be polite and they're worried. So Pine is funny. Wow, this is just all fan comments. I love this. My neighbor makes me Sicilian pizza, brings me the Sicilian pizza from that baker all the time, and I always just like it with the tomato sauce on top, and I put it in the oven to crisp it up. Yes, you're making us all hungry, and add Parmesan cheese on top of it. I love it. It's good for the cold. In the cold. Yeah, is that what you're talking about? Your square pizza? Hello in Suffern, New York, neighbor of New York City, home of Rami's statue. I say hi to it every time I pass. Yes, Maxine, phenomenal. Suffern, New York. I used to work at a radio station in New York, and it's called, you'll know this, but other people will laugh at it, Florida, New York, near Goshen. There you go. There's some things. Okay, let me go back here. Hold on, I have to sneeze. Thank you, everybody, for the implied God bless yous and gesundheit. Hold on, let me drink. Oh, here we go. Did I lose that already? Oh no, here it is. Okay, Deb. I'm drinking from the Nemo's. This is a incongruous thing. So here we go. A little cinnamon tea out of our Nemo's pizza mug. Okay, let's talk about the Super Bowl thing. Don't worry, I'll get back to all of your questions. The Super Bowl photos, I posted them. Let me just see this and then this. In season 5 of It Was Raymond, CBS was carrying the Super Bowl. I believe the networks either pay to have the Super Bowl or or it was alternating. I know there were 3 networks, so I don't know exactly who gets to broadcast the Super Bowl. But just so you know, in advertising terms, the Super Bowl is still the only way to reach this monolithic audience, every single person, all the eyeballs in the world. So when you hear, I don't know what the ad rate is. I couldn't afford an ad this time, but maybe 2 million, 3 million. We can look that up. 5 million, probably not 5 million, although it could be for a 30-second spot or a minute spot. If you really wanted to get the attention of the world, the Super Bowl is the only place left because of the audience member divergence or diversity, not diversity, but the compartmentalization of the audience. So just as an example, Ever's Raymond would get 19, 20 million viewers when we were on the air. Now a hit show gets 3 million views, 5 million views. 5 million views. So 1/4 of the views that we were getting. And back in the heyday in the 70s, All in the Family, I would imagine, would get 40 million views or 40 million views. Yeah, something like that. So the Super Bowl has how many views? 200 million? I don't even know what the viewership is. So it's really, really a really good bargain, even though most of us don't have $5 million to spend. So CBS is going to be airing the Super Bowl in season 5 of Ever's Raymond, and they say we want to do a promo not during the Super Bowl, but either before it or after a football-themed promo. So I can't remember. We would write them, the writers, Phil and the writers. I don't remember if the promo department of CBS would write them, but it would be very seldom. Very few things came to Phil and he didn't make them, his own or the show's own, et cetera. It's a tall thing to ask for outsiders to write that. And just like I have worked on the Emmys and I've helped out a few people with their speeches, and generally you have your own writers doing it. And on the Super Bowl thing, I believe, because I know for the shoot, Phil very much directed that Super Bowl promo. He asked me to go along. I always did take pictures, and I was probably more useful taking pictures than annoying people in the writer's room. We all went to a park, and there's a debate. Burbank, California is where we filmed the show at Warner Brothers Studios, season 2 through 9. And I sent a picture to George, who you met, George White III, who was our writer's PA, it's called, writer's production assistant, who grew up in this area. And I sent him a picture. I said, is this park I sent him a picture a year ago. The filming took place 7 years ago. So I was trying to remember where the park was. And so I said, George, is this Burbank? And he said, no, the street signs are North Hollywood. So I think it's the North Hollywood Park. The fact that Burbank and North Hollywood have different color street signs, I did not know that because I grew up in northern New Jersey. So I didn't have this deep knowledge of the valley. I still haven't found where that park was, even though I was there. And I have to match up the houses, etc., to see where it is today, to match that up. It's not that hard of a forensic change because parks very seldom change, etc. But we head there for one day of filming, and it's kind of surreal because there's no security. It's not like Friends at the time. Friends was bigger than, as big as the beat. Like, they had security everywhere. So it was just the cast of Raymond playing in a park and filming in a park. And so if you were a member of the general public, you'd go, oh, that's nice. They're having a little touch football game over there with the cast of Raymond. They must really like each other. Let me just see. Let me just check this. Sorry, I'm seeing if... So I updated my my iPhone, and I have over 350,000 photos. And normally I can search them and just see, oh, here's all of the photos that I can search at any point. And so uh, here you go. There is one, so it's still populating, okay? So it's still populating, but it's like got 373,000 photos to go. So my normal things at my fingertips does not apply today. So let me see this. Let me do this. Let me go back to this because I'm about to bring up, yes, some of the photos. Okay, so Ray and Brad did their own stunts. Okay, and there, folks, for those that are only listening, I'm holding up a photo of Brad Garrett fully armed, full arm extension. Okay, let me just get these notifications out. That house behind is still there. I'm 99% sure. So we have to be sleuths and try and find out where that park was. Okay, so there's a stunt man. You can't see Brad Garrett's arm is blocking his face, but he was a stunt coordinator. That's a steady cam behind Brad Garrett. Let's see the next one. Let's see this one. Okay, scrolling. So here we go. Here we can see a little better. It was a bright, beautiful, sunny day until it rained. It was the most bizarre thing. We got almost everything, and then it started raining. And as we know, if I turned my camera around, you would see there was not a cloud in the sky, and that's how it felt then. So there's Raymond fully up in the air. Okay, Ray is very athletic, very good softball player, and the steady cam in frame there. Okay, let's see. There's one that I could only share as a story. Oh, I don't think I share a story. So here we go. This is one of my favorite moments of Patty just getting up. There's some wardrobe people behind. There's a couple of movie trucks there. And just Peter Boyle and Doris Roberts just, walking around in the park. And, Patty did a lot of her... the lighting, beautiful, right? Nose to nose, Ray and Brad. Let me see, I need a way so that you guys don't get seasick from me holding up freehand my photo. Here is Phil, who is not athletic, not a sports fan, wearing a Hofstra shirt, directing the video. But funny is different than sports. So Phil nailed that. And then, of course, my favorite photo from this segment is Peter Boyle with the kids, Madeline Sawyer Sullivan. That I wonder. Next time I talk to Madeline, I'll have to see if she remembers much of that. The boys were so young, I would doubt that they would. Okay, let me just see this. I hear typing. Are we typing? Is there a message coming to me? Let me see. Let's see this. Let's see this. Oh, great. So the Super Bowl, the average viewers is 128 million. Okay, that's awesome. And it's $8 million for a 30-second spot. $8 million for a 30-second spot. So there you go. That is a lot of money. So we shoot that day. We're outside. I have some, I can't search it because I uploaded my phone, and I would just hit Super Bowl, and all these APS photos that I had, wide panoramic shots of the entire cast walking. I will post them as soon as I can get them again. And you see something called a silk. It's a diffuser, and it's this giant silk, and you see all of the cast walking towards the camera, which would be probably opening shot, etc. So over this afternoon, we got all of those elements, including the final moment of Doris smiling with a missing tooth, which is a little, a great comedic touch that I think really helped tremendously. Okay, for the show. So that then ran because, believe it or not, now 25 years later, you're like, how did people not know about the show? There's so many people here who are still commenting saying, I never watched the show, and then all of a sudden I caught one episode, and now I'm hooked. Because just like Eno's Pizza that I've never heard of, people in St. Louis are like, how have you never heard of that pizza? Never heard of it. Okay, let me go back to a couple of, and then, yes, some people have pointed out that Super Bowl commercial became the opening for season 6 for some of them. Okay, let's go. Let's scroll back to some. Let's look at our friend, the neglected. Reverse image would show the actual location. Reverse image would show the actual location. We will try that. Tom, I hope you will still to ERL on Instagram as I'm not on Facebook. Yes, you're not on Facebook, but you can watch on YouTube. Tom, who is your Super Bowl team? Hi, Leo. Let me center my image right there. Okay. Wow, it's such a close up. But if I move back, I'll fall off this platform that I'm on. Let me see, right there is lined up. I mean, it is just my noggin. Tom, who's your Super Bowl team? You're a West resident, but born in the East. Yes. So I'm not a big football fan. Bizarrely, when I was growing up in New Jersey, I loved the Kansas City Chiefs because I liked the red sweater that I got from Sears. I don't like to name drop like that. But the red helmet and the red sweater, and it had a gold zipper that zipped up in the center, and I was probably 10 years old, which is very bizarre. But the Giants are more my team. TV's Ray Romano is a Jets fan. Jets fans are, you can tell by their, they are sad all the time because the Jets do nothing but disappoint them other than in 1969 when the Jets with Joe Namath won the Super Bowl. I want to say it was Super Bowl III. So the Super Bowl has only existed since the mid-'60s, and the Green Bay Packers were this dominant team. For today's Super Bowl, it is the New England Patriots versus the Seattle Seahawks. And just to give you guys a little history, I will spend 1 minute on this. The Patriots are a team that people like to hate. They didn't like to hate them until Tom Brady came in and they won more Super Bowls than anybody. They had a streak that was amazing and probably will be unmatched, although the Kansas City Chiefs could do it if their star quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, gets healthy again. So, the Seattle Seahawks are an underdog team. Usually, I'm just saying from the country, from America. The Patriots win. So, in baseball, the Yankees won one out of every four World Series in the 20th century. So 1900 to 2000, the Yankees won 1 in 4. So people like to hate the Yankees. And the Patriots kind of took that place. The Seattle Seahawks were in the Super Bowl and they played the Patriots, and they could have won. The Seattle Seahawks could have beat the Patriots, and there was an interception thrown on the last play. And forever, people are like, why didn't he run the ball? So that's a little backstory. The networks love it when it's big rivals, when it's big teams, like the Giants versus, I can't even know, I don't even know because I'll embarrass myself with the leagues, because you have the American Football League and the National Football League, is that right? The NFC and the AFC, that's their divisions. When they're giant teams playing each other. So if the Rams, Los Angeles Rams, they lost their last game, or they'd be in the Super Bowl. It represents a crazy amount of money, publicity, everything. You want to make it to the Super Bowl. So networks love it when it's big teams that are playing. And when I say big teams, the Dallas Cowboys were this big team. They have not been in the Super Bowl for a while. But these iconic teams, when they're playing, it's just better for advertising, better for everybody, because they feel like people care more. Okay, but excellent question, Leo. Thank you for taking a personal interest in what team I would like. Tom. Okay, let me just keep going here. Marie's missing tooth. Yes. Not sure why I developed a lisp on that one. Hi, Tom. Seahawks are winning champions by the time the night's over. Stephen A. Schmidt said so. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, let's go back to Facebook here. Hi, Deb. Tom, in Dancing with Deborah, Brad and Patricia became amazing swing dancers. How much training did Patricia Heaton and Brad Garrett actually have to undergo for these scenes? And was there a professional dancer standing in front of them? Sorry, I misspelled the word. Take on my last question statement, typing too fast. Yes, all misspellings are forgiven, because I realize, and folks, if you don't get your question answered this time, I will be back again next week. It was a week of choreography, 4 days of rehearsal. Brad Garrett, as you know, is a very good dancer. Patricia Heaton is a good dancer. I don't know how much the choreographer worked with them. There was a whole swing dance team with them. I posted a picture of Aaron Shore dancing with Doris Roberts, swing dancing. Aaron Shore, hold on, let me take a sip here. Aaron Shore, where was I? Let's find another. In our favorite quotes mug, drinking some delicious cold tea. I don't like that Raymond. Okay, that's our. Delicious. That is a delicious cold, ice cold, because it's so hot here. Maybe we'll make it to 82, etc. I posted a picture of Aaron Shore. Aaron Shore, let's make sure the volume is down. Aaron Shore was an avid dancer. He even studied a Brazilian martial art, which I always mispronounce, capoeira, something, which is almost more dancing than anything else. Let me see if I can see that Aaron post. Yeah, that must be on Facebook that I did it. So the choreography, I'm assuming usually, they work out the specific dance, the specific moves that they have to do on camera. So it's not like they have to become good swing dancers. But as we know, Brad is a very good dancer. Patricia Heaton is a good dancer. And I find for the most part, women are better dancers. I will go out on a limb, send your angry letters, along with the chocolates, etc. So here we go. Here, folks, for those who didn't see, there is Aaron Shore dancing with Doris Roberts during, I forget if it was after, if we had a little bit of dance party. I do have a picture of Phil Rosenthal flipping a girl, dancing, like 3 shots of Phil doing that. So I can't access it now, but I will show it to you. Oh, let's do this. This is a good recap, because here we have to try a snack. We have to look at a script also. I've started narrating some of these photos, but it takes a little bit of effort, so I'm not doing them as not because I'm lazy, but it takes time. That's Brad Garrett. That's his dressing room. He's coming out of his dressing room, and that's a photo that must have been it's my photo, and it was somewhere. I don't know if they had a showing. I think the Warner Brothers Photo Lab did, but that was up on the wall above the second story on stage 5. Which, by the way, I drove by stage 5 today. It was open, and I could have gone in there, but I didn't have time to go in there. But that didn't exist. They built those when Raymond became a hit, because they had dressing rooms were all in trailers. There wasn't even dressing rooms on that stage. And so they built all of those. So that's up on that walkway. Folks, I gave a tour of the entire stage one night during Everest Raymond. Towards the end, I walked around the stage. Nobody was there. The lights weren't even on. I had a flashlight. I wish I had found this light switch. But I give a tour of the whole set, every room, everything, every room around the perimeter. And so at some point I have to do that. Okay, let's scroll down. Hi, Linda. Yes, we got your crossword puzzle. Go Patriots. Yeah. We got your crossword puzzle. So Linda was nice enough to make an incredible amount of work. I don't have it in front of me here in the studio. And I took pictures of it. So we have to figure out what to do, whether we post it somewhere and, make sure that everybody knows that you made it. But yes, thank you. It did arrive safely. An incredible work. Let me know, guys, if you want to see Linda's and try and answer the questions on Linda's. I did not look at all the questions yet. I didn't have a chance to, but I will. If people would like to do an Everest Raymond crossword puzzle, courtesy of Linda, that would be very, very I'm sure many of you will be able to do it. Okay, let me scroll down. Wow, I really am way behind. Emo's Pizza is pronounced like Nemo's without an E. Yes, awesome. Emo's Pizza. So I pronounced it correctly. Emo's, like Nemo's, yes. Gil, the Super Bowl is on TV in the UK at 11:30 p.m. on Sky Sports and Channel 5, according to Google. And the question really is, Gil, does anybody care? I know, again, just like when I was saying to Karen, is it in the air? Like I said about World Cup, like people here, avid football slash soccer fans know everything about the World Cup, but most Americans, if you dropped them into Tennessee and said, "When's the World Cup?" they'd go, "What is that?" Um, Bob Silva, after 5 years, I still have no idea who you are. Very funny. Excellent. Michelle, you meant without the N. Yes, don't worry. We are very forgiving here on mistakes. Um, and to me, New York pizza that you buy in pieces and they serve on wax paper and the cheese is fantastic. It's the best pizza ever. Yes. Hi, Jim. When did your comedy shows with Raymond, what were the biggest subjects you got stuck into? When? So Ray and I started doing stand up with Raymond probably in 1990, and we would do a tremendous amount of tours. And I was single, and Raymond was married, so my material was much more that. Raymond was more about having kids. I don't know if there's anything there, but having kids and a wife who doesn't give you a break. So yes, comedy shows all since '90. I believe when we see the fixed, you'll believe it when we see the fixed lens. Yes. Working with Phil Rosenthal. What is the biggest lesson in comedy or life you learned from working with Phil? Whoa. Phil, that was whoa because my chair slipped, not because of that question. So Phil, yes. So Phil, just for those people that don't know, Phil is the term is the showrunner, and he's now a big fat star. He's not fat. That's wrong to say. He's a big skinny star. Now of Somebody Feed Phil, which is a fantastic show on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, I would watch it. It's a very feel-good TV series of Phil eating. So one of the things is food related. Phil had such a passion and love of food, and he introduced me and Raymond to lots of things. Like we never had sushi. Maybe Raymond did, but I never had sushi till I came out here. Sushi was kind of there wasn't sushi in northern New Jersey. I went to New York University and in New York City, but I was completely broke. So I never, it wasn't expendable. Let's go for sushi tonight. Those words never came out of our mouths. And I remember even one time Ray and I were driving to Washington, D.C. to do the Improv before I was Raymond, and he had this deep fried food pie. I have to ask him if he remembers what it was, but he was so excited to have this deep fried thing down in Canal Street or something. And then we drove to Washington, D.C. I'll see if he can remember that. So food, the exposure to food. Phil's love of food was phenomenal and contagious, and you see it on his show all the time. If you tune in, and if you watch the Korea episode, you'll see me in Korea with Phil. Comedy-wise, Phil had a big background in theater. And so for me and Ray, it was just stand-up and getting jokes as stand-up. So Phil's theater background and his ability to give notes and also focus on story. So just to frame it a little, when you're a stand-up, you're doing more jokes, standalone jokes. You're not trying to craft an hour of a full story. So you're just thinking, what's the funniest thing? And so for Phil, who comes from story, where you're telling a play, it's a story from beginning to end, and very much a multicam sitcom, which is Everett Raymond, 4 cameras, shooting from beginning to end in order so the live audience can watch this play in front of them. It was very much, Ray and I wrote the season 1 finale, and it was very much a lesson in everything has to be on story or service the story and your main characters, because something funny you're in your head, you're always thinking of hopefully something funny. That's funny, that's funny, that's funny. And then eventually you're like, okay, but that doesn't service the story. And so when you're watching an episode of Everett Raymond, like everyone, think of any episode, right? It all ties together and relates to the story. So that was a big learning curve. And also for Phil, he was very aware of there was a problem with me and Ray separating his real life father, who I knew, and mother, who I knew, and the character. So Ray would often be like, my father wouldn't give back the money in what is this? Win, Lose, or Draw, which is probably this, I don't know, the 3rd, 4th episode. It was like he wouldn't do that. I wouldn't kiss my father on the head. Like all these things where Phil's like, okay, but you have to separate from what how the character is from your real life. And even told this story before. I wrote the checkbook episode, and there's the ATM scene. And I was saying to Phil and Ray also, Ray and I were on the same side, which is the side of being wrong. But we were like, the odds of this happening and Robert being in the vicinity is very astronomically low. And Phil's like, but the audience demands it. The audience wants to see Robert come up and do it. Don't you guys see that this is a much better comedic moment? And so Ray and I early on were very, very much tied into reality. Now, I witnessed it with fans who are like, why do they use the front door and the side door? This is really annoying. And where does it, blah, 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 all this stuff, appropriately so, if you're an architect, etc. By the way, just for that little side note, on the East Coast, you often had people with a formal front door and then the side door, and you would randomly use whichever one you wanted. It's not always the straight line that you're going to take. Sometimes you have to take off your snow boots. Sometimes you do this, sometimes etc. So on Raymond, when people are screaming at the screen going, why aren't they using the other door? A lot of it has to do with the time it takes for an actor to walk from one place to another, called the cross. Like, he's going to cross from the kitchen to here. So if you guys are watching and you feel like an episode is boring, imagine if we stuck to the rules of geography. We're like, you know what? They have to go answer the front door. They have to walk across the living room, and we have to watch them walk across the living room. Just like when we had the producer of the TV special on, and I said, hey, there's a lot of people who watch that TV reunion special, and they said, Monica did not hug Patricia Heaton, and they look angry. Patricia Heaton looks so angry. Monica hugged everybody effusively, over the top, too much. And so Eric Pankowski had to go, let me go from her hug of her husband, and let's sit her down. Because the audience is going to have to watch her hug. So that is the same thing. Initially with Phil, is like, look, listen, you guys, this matters in TV. Get divorced from reality. Okay, so that's a few of the things, etc. People mispronounce my last name all the time. DeRoser. That's how you want it to be pronounced, Amanda, right? Amanda DeRoser. Okay. And Brazier is a nice one. We went to NOLA and visited antique stores. I was really dreaming. Wow. Me, you, and Patty antique shopping in New Orleans. Okay. That, by the way, that's not out of the question. I mean, that I can see me doing it. I don't know. Patty probably could. It's getting us there at the same time, and having that time. What was I going to say? And Kim, I hope you enjoyed the hospitality of Kevin at the Long Island Museum. Oh, look at the time, folks. We have so much time. Hi, Lynn. Now, Lynn, we know your last name gets mispronounced a lot. A lot of reels come up of ELR showing parts of different episodes, but camera is often shaky and often film is backwards, i.e., layouts are backwards from how always normally shown. Who puts up the reels? Would Phil Ray not have to give permission? Hi, Lynn. Are you talking about my reels? Because the only shaky footage is probably coming from my personal archives. Does Phil and Ray have zero say in what goes up? I'm not saying that in a defensive way. Like, make them see if they can stop me. CBS and HBO and Worldwide Pants, they have a say, but it's kind of one of the reasons why the reunion took so long is they had to work out who has the rights to whatever. So those are generally mine. So you have to understand actually, you don't have to understand. You don't have to understand what I'm about to say, but a lot of times it was hard enough for me to have my camera around my neck and take pictures of everybody all the time. When I say hard enough, I'm trying not to be intrusive. So when I hold up the Polaroids of the wardrobe department doesn't want to be intrusive, meaning this is not a judgment, they're not important in the scene and getting it done. They're important for continuity. So they run in and run out. They're like flashing. Flashing means not you're showing them your privates. Flashing means you have a flash bulb going off. They yell flashing because if they don't yell that and the head gaffer, the electrician, just sees a flash, they're going to look around and go, we blew a light somewhere. So that's why they yell flashing. They try and get in and out and be unobtrusive. For me, holding my camera, I'm also supposed to be working and writing. So I'm taking still photos, and sometimes I'm discreetly holding the camera, or it's my editor who worked with me taking the camera. So I'm posting everything. If you guys are annoyed by the shakiness or something, I'm not saying in an angry way. I'm just saying that's what we have. So this wasn't, hey guys, Tom is going to film. So here he is with his tripod and he has a nice angle. This is me trying to grab shots discreetly. And sometimes I'm just walking around with the camera and I have to find where do I, at least, as we say, settle on a shot that's usable. So Lynn, I hope that answers your question. The reels that you're seeing, and if you name one, I'll let you know. The reels that you're seeing are, for the most part, 99.999% me. I think Patty shot some stuff. I know Mike Royce, but I have the overwhelming amount, and I still have 200 2-hour videos to digitize so I can share them with you. Let me see. I love all the interaction with the fans today. Yes, Amanda DeRozier. Let me see. Where was ELR filmed? Are these two houses really across the street from each other? So yes, the two houses are across the street from each other. The show was filmed in Los Angeles at Hollywood Center Studios, now Sunset Las Palmas, season 1, and Warner Brothers in Burbank the rest of the time. It's really great. Hi, Kathleen. Iso Hain. It is really, let me get to that. Let me do that. It's really great to interact with others on this great site. Yeah, this should be an oasis of friendliness and comedy, just like the show was. So there's no reason for people to get mad. And I do notice on other sites when people are like, it's a show. Why are you bringing that up? It's like, well, you're discussing the show. We know it's a show. The joy is discussing the show. Hi, Karen. Are you able to talk about Ray's new show? Have they started filming yet? Ray is going to be in a drama, so don't expect a comedy. Sorry, folks. They are still casting, as far as I know. And it is by, he is the producer of more comedy, more drama than any other. Greg Berlanti. He directed Raymond in Fly Me to the Moon. If you haven't seen it, it's worth watching. It's very entertaining, etc. So he is doing it. He's the most successful drama producer, I'm going to say, in television history. So it should be very good. Let's see this. Spelling, yes. Okay, a lot of spelling corroborations, yes. My husband records the game and fast forwards then with the ads, through the ads and the yakety yak and the talking. Very smart. When you go to your studio to show us a tour, will you still be going live here on all your sites when it's finished, or will you be streaming where you must pay to join? Excellent question. No, I will not make you pay. Okay, so the studio, excellent question. I will still be doing my lives. My studio, what I have to do is make an official podcast. Right now, I know we call this a podcast, and I've been doing it for 5 years, and it's more than a lot of podcasts last. But it's not on like Apple Podcasts where you can just listen to the podcast. So when I'm doing those, there'll be a much more formal, not me being formal, but there'll be a format, and it'll be available wherever podcasts are streamed. This is so loosey-goosey, and I'm talking to you guys, and for somebody just listening on their own, it might be a little bit distracting. So there'll be a little bit more focus, but no, there will be no paywall for the podcast. Hi, Jim Hustle. You're pitching your team. Watch this. I'm bringing you up. WelshCoastRadio.com. There you go. The hazards for the exterior shots are in Merrick, New York on Long Island. And yes, they really are across the street from each other. Tom drove by one day and filmed a video. Yes, I will do that. Thank you, Karen Jack. Okay, let's see this, Gemma. Okay, so Pat, I'm afraid to say it's going to be the Pats. Okay, yeah, there we go. Okay, let me scroll all the way to the end here because we have to taste some things. Okay, Mona, always fun. Good luck feeding your dogs. Yeah. By the way, with the discussion of Romper Room, they a few others mentioned last Sunday. It was aired from 1953 to 1994. The women would hold a magnifying glass looking into the cameraman and say hello to a few children, their names every week, and hopefully they would be listening. Wow. Yes, that I did not know. Hi, Karen. A fairly new section is called Reels, which has all different subjects of TV shows, politics, anything you show interest in. Lynn, yes. So let me see. Yes, Raymond will be on Broadway February 17th through March 8th. Yes. This is a nice oasis of friendliness, untied by United. Sorry, untied. Terrible. United by our love of ELR. Yes. Thanks, Tom. Since I can't go back in time and see a live taping of an episode, I must visit the exhibit before it closes. Yes, Douglas Brown. That's true. I think you have a full year. Mona, for the new show that Ray is going to be on, how many episodes? I will find out from Ray. Yes, thank you, Bob. The comedy there was the best. Kevin was the best host. He made me feel like a celebrity. Oh, yes, Kim. Sorry. Kevin at the Long Island Museum of Music and Entertainment Hall of Fame. Okay, let's do this. Should I try? No, I have to do this first. Let's try and guess an episode. Hold on. Let me make sure I grab the right one. Yes. Okay. Okay, for those of you that don't know, Tom Caltabiano here. I rescued from a dumpster all of the wardrobe scripts. What are the wardrobe scripts? They have the wardrobe notes and Polaroids of every single actor in every single scene of every single episode in the history of Everett Raymond, and I'm holding up one every week and see if you guys can guess the episode. Now, if there's a guest actor, if there's a specific thing like Robert's mustard-colored suit, it is not a problem to guess it. But some of them are harder to guess. So let's see. Here we go, folks. That is our friend Raymond. My prediction is not one soul will be able to guess it from that photo. There's Raymond at a distance. There you can see Phil, it looks like giving notes, and maybe Steve Scrovan in the background. Okay, Phil giving notes. Ray has the most, I don't want to say vanilla, but mundane wardrobe. There's nothing exciting about Ray's wardrobe. Oh, wait. Oh, no, that's unique, right? He's in jeans and a checkered flannel shirt. Okay. Here we go. There's Raymond again. Phil is wearing that color suit jacket. Let me see. Do I want to show that of Raymond? Sorry, I hit the mic there. There we go. And that's a sound dolly behind there, an audio dolly. Okay, I gotta keep track of my tight shot. Here we go. Better wardrobe. You know, a lot of people have commented. So there's Phil. That's what he's wearing that day. Okay, and Patricia Heaton and our friend Raymond. So that's what I mean. The wardrobe department, they don't even know they're taking the photo. Okay, and they're trying to be discreet. Here also, Patricia Heaton, she's not being rude. They're just flashing, take the picture, and then they move on. Okay, let's see if we have any guesses. Any guesses so far? Oh, I have to look at the picture. Sorry, folks, on Instagram. I realize you can't see it because it's a little bit tight. Okay. Kathy. Wow. Okay. Sweet Charity. Camille, not homework. Kathy, you're going to stay that. This. Yes. So 3 of you have gotten it already. I am so impressed. Let's take it to the end before I try a thing. And of course, the game is going to start shortly. There we go. Patricia Heaton with the microphone behind her. That's kind of a tell. So now that you know, if you know the episode, you're like, oh yeah, of course. And so let's see. I'm just going to go past this one and then this one. So, by the way, some people have commented on Marie's outfits. There are many people of her generation Oh, there I am behind with pretending to think behind Doris, right? Is that me there? Yes. Doris, a lot of people commented on how Doris had almost the best clothes of the entire series. She had custom made tops, blouses, is that what you call them? And that was really how she wanted to dress up. And I think people of that generation, it was not unusual. So I don't know, do people feel bad and they're like, hey, I don't get dressed up, so she shouldn't either. So here's what I mean. If you show certain photos, you guys know, oh, that is the episode. So here we go. Can anybody remember the line she said that seems to get the big laugh? There you go. So who was the designer or the main brand of Doris Roberts shirts? I'm going to post a bunch of those photos. Okay, let me see. Here's nurses. I'm just going to race past extras. You can see how much detail has to go into all of these. Sorry, hit the mic again. There we go. Everybody's details. I think that's Doris Roberts' stand-in. Hard for me to tell on that. Okay, let's try a treat before we say... Let's see, before we move on. Great guesses, everybody. That was fast. I am really, 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 really impressed. I said it 3 times. Here we go. The official canister lent to me by Rhonda Robinson. She said, keep it for a week. That was 2 years ago. I hope she never asked for it back. I don't know what these are. Oh, I have to say, for Kristen, who sent me the chocolate cake, I had a delicious big piece of that cake and it was phenomenal. And I said, I'm going to put it in the refrigerator at our studio. And also someone else that worked there, he had a piece of it. And then they ate the entire cake, is gone, eaten. So I'm going to post pictures and I'm going to have to post pictures. Then I'll tell you it was delicious. So I won't tell a rating now because I wanted to give it its due. Okay, here we go. I'm having the Christmas tea, courtesy of Deb. There we go. Some ginger snaps. Where are these from? As some weird writing. Oh, okay. It is a product of Sweden. There you go. Product of Sweden, ginger snaps. Now, for those of you that don't know, I do, and I just had dinner with Phil and the writers, and I'm like, do you remember our cookie test? How many different cookies did we have? And we had a lot. So here we go, ginger snap. So you're doing apples and oranges. You have a Tim Tam that's, double chocolate with fudge or whatever in the middle and mint, and now you have a ginger. So I do factor that in when I'm rating these. Wow, these are wafer thin. Let me have some more of my Christmas tea to go with it. Let's see, here we go, from my Nemo's. Okay, tasty. So here we go. It is literally a wafer. This is the thinnest thing I've ever tasted. I mean, that is wafer thin, folks. There's the top half. Okay, so I mean, I've eaten triple the amount in one bite, so. Wow. If you like ginger, which I do, like Raymond does. Oh, wow. I missed this perfect part of the label. Oh, I see. It's upside down. Traditionally baked in Sweden. Do my Swedish people know this? Is this a known brand or is this an export just for Americans so we can understand? These are phenomenal. These are really good. Now, I think after my 9th ginger snap, for those of you that are not watching and only listening in the future, they are incredibly wafer thin, round, the color that you'd expect of a ginger cookie made in Sweden. They're uniquely tasty and gingery. I'm giving this a 7.5. That's a high rating for a ginger snap, right? So you have to like ginger. Really good and not too sweet. American cookies, biscuits, whatever you guys call them, are so sweet usually. This is not sweet. And the fourth one is just as not sweet. Okay, let me do some final thing. You tricky, tricky white boy. Yes, you're a sneaky little white boy is different. You tricky, tricky white boy, not as funny. Excellent, though, that you guys even do it. Hi, Deb. Let's see. How's the tea? I bought that on my last Disney cruise, The Treasure, when I cruised to the Caribbean just past November 2025. Disney only puts that edition out during the holidays. It's delicious. It's phenomenal. It is the Christmas tea. We're trying to extend the season. Twinings, which I understand is the oldest brand in the world. Something like that. Hi, Lynn Van Orden. Looks very good. Crisp, question mark. They are crisp. Lynn, you've given me a reason to have my fifth ginger snap. Here we go. Here, I'll do this for you. Let me see. There's a mic above my head here. Did you guys hear that? Hold on. It's crisp. There's not that much body to crisp. I don't like to show off my strength, but I was able to snap that with no problem. See you next Sunday. Yes, have a great week. Okay, final catching up here. Hi, Karen. Is the pizza good? I don't think I ever had the pizza from there. We have biscuits called ginger nuts in the UK. You should try them, Tom. I feel like I've seen them. I don't know if I tried them yet. Maybe I did. All right, final things. I have so many varieties of Twinings at home. Yes. Try some Welsh cakes. You'd be truly spoiled. Never heard of a Welsh cake. Do we know what a Welsh cake? Has any of my American friends ever seen one? I don't know. All right. And folks, next week I will explain we're going to have a wardrobe person on, not next week, but I will explain some of the annotations on those Polaroids, etc., so we can get a little bit more. Let me see this, scrolling back. Lynn, what is your excuse for being late? You'll have to send a note also, post a note, etc. All right, everybody. See you next week. Thank you so much. Keep your questions coming. And I love it when people jump in. Again, I've said this before, when you guys jump in and answer other people's questions, because you guys who have been watching me since the beginning know more about the show than most people on the planet. We'll have some more drinks and tea and some delicious snacks next week. Okay. And remind me stuff that I've brought up during the week or that you have mentioned, and I will talk about it in my live and explain more, and hopefully a tour of the studio very, very soon. Okay. Have fun, everybody.